Have you ever had a dream that felt real? So real that when you woke up, for a split second, you didn't know which world was the true one? We wake up. We go to work, we eat, we sleep, we repeat. We assume this reality is solid, physical, absolute. But what if it's not? What if everything you see, everything you touch, and everyone you love is nothing more than sophisticated code running on a server the size of a galaxy? This isn't just a conspiracy theory made up by paranoid minds. This is a mathematical possibility debated by physicists, philosophers, and tech billionaires. Elon Musk said there is a 1 in a billion's chance that we are living in base reality. Think about that. 1 in billions. That means the odds are you are not real. Let's look at the evidence, and we start with the speed of our own evolution. 50 years ago, in the 1970s, we had Pong, 2 white rectangles and a dot. That was our simulation of tennis. It was primitive. It was flat. Fast forward just 50 years. Today, we have photorealistic 3D simulations. We have virtual reality where you can feel the vertigo of falling. We have AI generating videos that are indistinguishable from real life. We went from Pong to the Matrix in a single human lifetime. Now, apply this trajectory to a civilization that is perhaps 1,000 years older than us, or 1,000,000 years, or 1,000,000,000. If their computing power continued to grow even at a fraction of our speed, they would eventually have the power to simulate not just a game, but a universe, detailed down to the atom, with billions of conscious beings inside it. If that is possible, statistically, what is more likely? That we are the first biological civilization to exist, or that we are one of the billions of simulations running on their hard drives right now? But technology is just speculation. Let's talk about the hard physics of our universe. If you were designing a massive open-world video game like Grand Theft Auto, you wouldn't render the entire city at once. That would crash the computer. Instead, the engine only renders the street you are standing on. The rest of the world doesn't exist until you look at it. Quantum mechanics reveals something suspiciously similar about our reality. The famous double slit experiment shows that subatomic particles, the building blocks of matter, do not have a definite position. They exist as a wave of probability. But the moment you observe them, they snap into a fixed position, like a video game asset loading in just because the player looked at it. Physicists call this the observer effect. A programmer calls it optimization. Is reality saving memory by only rendering what we can see? And then consider the speed of light, 299,792 kilometers per second. Science tells us it's the maximum speed limit of the universe. But why is there a limit at all? Why can't we go faster? In computing, information cannot travel instantly across a motherboard. There is always a delay, a latency. Many theorists argue that the speed of light is simply the processing speed of our host server, the maximum rate at which the simulation can refresh the pixels of our reality. We aren't limited by physics. We are limited by the bandwidth of the machine we are living in. Scientists like Dr. James Gates claim to have found error-correcting computer code embedded in the equations of supersymmetry, literally, browser code. If this is a digital system, then logically, it must have bugs. Complex code always has glitches. Consider déjà vu, that sudden, terrifying feeling that I have lived this exact moment before. Neuroscience dismisses it as a mismatch in the brain's memory circuits, a short circuit. But in the simulation theory, déjà vu could be a rollback. Imagine the server crashed and the admins had to reload the simulation from the last save point. You feel like you've lived this moment before because you actually have. Or look at the Mandela Effect. Millions of people vividly remembering a specific event or a logo or a death that history books say never happened. How can millions of strangers share the exact same false memory? What if the creators released a patch, an update to change the timeline? The physical world was updated, but our memories, the cached data, were not fully wiped. The conflict between your memory and the new reality is the glitch. Some even argue that ghosts, UFOs, and miracles are not supernatural. In a video game, developers have God mode. They can fly through walls, vanish instantly, and defy gravity. To an NPC, that looks like magic. To a developer, it's just an admin tool. This leads to the most terrifying question of all. If we are in a simulation, why are we here? Who built this prison, and what do they want? Are they our descendants? Humans from the year 5000? Maybe their climate collapsed, or a disease wiped them out. Maybe they are running an ancestry simulation to study us, trying to find the exact moment where humanity went wrong to save their own future. Or maybe it's not about history. Maybe it's about computation. Imagine a civilization facing a problem they cannot solve. So, they build a universe with billions of conscious minds, us, to act as a massive neural network. We think we are living our lives, falling in love, working jobs, but in reality, our collective brains are just processing data for their problem. But here's the horror. If we are an experiment designed to solve a problem, what happens when the problem is solved? When a computer finishes its calculation, you don't keep it running. You save the data, and you turn it off. Are we close to the solution? And if we are we close to the shutdown? But here lies the paradox. We cannot prove we are in a simulation, because any evidence we find could be simulated, and we cannot prove we are not in one. So, where does that leave us? Maybe it doesn't matter. Whether you are made of flesh and blood or zeros and ones, your pain is real. Your joy is real. Your consciousness is the only thing you can truly verify. I think, therefore I am. Look around you right now. Really look. Is the texture of the wall real? Is the sound of my voice real? Or are you just processing data? If you were a line of code, would you even know? Wake up.